This is a story that still crawls under my skin, even now. I was so young when it happened, 6 years old, but some memories burn themselves into you, no matter how small you are. 6 was the age when the fog of childhood started to lift, when moments became sharp, clear, and lasting. I had one sibling, my older brother, Keith. He was 8 at the time, 2 years older, and in my eyes, practically an adult. We shared a big bedroom upstairs. Our parents' room was on the first floor. That night, I remember, we had gone to bed like always. I had a strict bedtime, 8:30. If Dad caught us awake after that, we'd be in trouble. He wasn't abusive, but he didn't play games about rules. I don't know if it was a school night, I don't remember what day it was, but I remember waking up to Keith shaking me. "Shh," he whispered, "listen." His face was pale in the moonlight spilling through the blinds. I rubbed my eyes, groggy and confused, but then I heard it. A voice, calling our names. Soft, whispering, from downstairs. At first, it sounded comforting. Our mom's voice, familiar, gentle. "Keith! Mikey!" I started to get up, but Keith grabbed my arm hard. "Don't," he hissed. "That's not Mom." My little brain couldn't process what he was saying. "Stop trying to scare me," I whispered back at him, angry at for being weird. "I'm serious," he said, his voice trembling. I pulled away from him, annoyed. I thought he was being dramatic. I crept to the door. Just outside our bedroom was a short hallway leading to the bathroom and a guest room where Grandma stayed when she visited. Directly to the right was the door to the stairwell that led down to the first floor. I pressed my ear against our bedroom door. The voice was clearer now. "Keith! Mikey!" It was Mom. It had to be Mom. I turned to Keith and whispered, "It's Mom!" He shook his head. "No, it's not." Something in his eyes, wide, shiny with fear, made my stomach twist, but I didn't believe him. Not yet. I opened the door to the hall. The voice stopped. "She walked away," I whispered back to him. Keith shook his head violently. "That's not her." I told him to shut up, that he was scaring me. I unlocked the stairway door as quietly as I could, my small hands fumbling with the cold metal knob. Slowly, I opened it, just enough to peek through. The hallway behind me was silent. The air felt heavy, like the house itself was holding its breath. At the bottom of the stairs, in the dim glow from the living room lamp, I saw her, a woman, standing still. And immediately I knew this was not my mom. She was just a dark silhouette, but something about her posture, her stillness, was wrong. My mom never stood like that, rigid, unnatural. And then she spoke. "Hi, sweetie. Come down." Her voice was calm, sweet, but it was like honey poured over broken glass. Every hair on my body stood on end. I slammed the door, locked it, ran back to our room, locked that door too. I was crying now, gasping for breath, and Keith kept whispering, "I told you, I told you." We huddled together on the bed, shaking. After a moment, Keith said, "We have to wake Mom and Dad." We came up with a plan. On the count of 3, we'd scream and stomp as loud as we could. 1, 2, 3. We screamed until our throats burned, pounded our little fists on the floor, our heels kicking like wild animals. It didn't take long. Footsteps thundered up the stairs, fists pounded on the door. At first, Dad was furious, yelling about the locked door. But when we let them in and they saw my face wet with tears, their anger vanished. We spilled the story in broken whispers. Mom's face changed. Concern, fear. She asked softly, "What did she look like?" Keith and I both said the same thing. We didn't know. We couldn't see her face. I'll never forget the way Mom's mouth tightened at that answer. Dad didn't say a word. He ran downstairs fast. Mom stayed with us, holding us, kissing our foreheads, telling us we were safe now. But she told us something strange before leaving to check on Dad. Lock the doors. She had never told us that before. We sat on the bed listening. Then, the doorbell. We ran to the window and peeked through the blinds. A police car sat in the driveway, its lights spinning silently. We wanted to go downstairs, but Mom told us to stay put. I remember begging for answers. Who was she? They never told us. They always shrugged, always said, "Just some intruder. We're proud of you for not going downstairs." But that never explained how she knew our names. I asked them again years later at a family dinner. Same answer, same shrug. But I saw it in their eyes. They knew, and they weren't telling.
I was 16, still in high school, still stuck between wanting freedom and needing rides from my mom. I didn't have a car, which meant walking or begging for a ride home whenever my mom had plans. And that night, she did. She dropped me off at my friend Haley's house, mentioning casually that she might be out late. Translation, she was going on a date, and I'd probably be walking home. Haley lived close, 3 minutes by car, 20 by foot. It felt safe enough. Suburban streets, neat lawns, familiar houses. Nothing dangerous ever happened there. Until that night. It was a weekend and Haley was hosting a small get-together. Just us girls, Tina, Courtney, Belle, Haley, and me. We lounged in the backyard for hours, laughing, gossiping, and enjoying the kind of freedom only teenagers with no parents around can feel. But then the boys showed up. I hadn't been told they were coming. One of them was someone I had history with. Awkward, annoying history. Someone I'd rather not see. Haley thought she was being cute, playing matchmaker behind my back. But for me, it ruined the night. I tried to shake it off, but the awkwardness lingered. Eventually, I decided I wasn't feeling it. I told Haley I was leaving and texted her my frustrations as I started walking home. She apologized, kept saying, "OMG, come back," but I just wanted out. I'd only been walking for about 5 minutes when I noticed it. Another set of footsteps behind me. At first, I brushed it off. People walked around at night sometimes. But when I slowed down, the footsteps slowed too. When I turned my head, I saw him. A middle-aged man, hood up, hands buried in his pocket. He was smiling. "How you doing?" he asked. Voice soft but wrong. "Hi," I muttered, then quickly turned forward and kept walking. It was a public street. I told myself I was overreacting, but every few minutes I glanced back. He was always there. Same distance, maybe a little closer each time. Another turn, another glance. He was still following. "Isn't it such a nice night? Love this weather," he said, his smile lingering. "Yeah," I replied, short and sharp, not slowing down. Then came the question that made my skin crawl. "Are you from the neighborhood?" "No," I snapped, trying to sound firm. He chuckled, a sound that felt wrong, like he already knew I wasn't. I texted my friends, telling them about the man. One of them said she sent a guy from the party to meet me. The irony, it was the boy I had been avoiding, Brandon. But at that moment, I didn't care. I just wanted someone, anyone, to get me out of this. Then the man said it. "I'm not gonna hurt you. You live by the elementary school, right?" I stopped cold. He wasn't guessing. He knew. I turned, and for the first time, I saw his smile shift. It wasn't friendly anymore. It was crooked, forced, sinister. "Leave me alone," I screamed, and bolted. He ran too. I could hear him closing the gap. Panic exploded inside me. I screamed louder, bloody murder, for anyone in the quiet suburban night to hear. Lights flicked on in nearby houses. The man shouted back, "Shut up, you little!" But he didn't finish. He stopped running, and then he was gone, swallowed by the dark. A couple came out of their house, and I rushed toward them, trembling, explaining what happened. I waited there until Brandon pulled up. The drive to my house took 1 minute. One terrifying, quiet minute. My mom wasn't home yet. She wasn't answering her phone. I didn't want to be alone, so I asked Brandon to stay. He agreed without hesitation. We sat in my room, talking, trying to shake off the fear. But around midnight, something else started. Footsteps. Outside. Circling the house. I froze. My bedroom faced the backyard, and I heard the wooden gate creak open. My mom never came in through the backyard. Whoever it was, wasn't her. I almost yelled, "Mom," but caught myself. Instead, Brandon and I peeked through the window, expecting to see someone creeping around below. But there was nothing, just shadows. Then a voice from the dark. "I seed you up there." I gasped, loud, too loud. Brandon shouted, "We're calling the cops, you freak!" And that's exactly what we did. Brandon did most of the talking. I sat shaking, staring out the window, half expecting that hooded figure to appear again. When the officers arrived, relief washed over me, but fear still lingered. Who was he? How did he know where I lived? Was he watching me before the night? Did he know I'd be walking home? My mom came home soon after, pale and panicked. The cops stayed parked outside for hours, a silent warning to anyone lurking in the shadows. We never saw him again, never learned his name, but I was never the same. I refused to walk at night, refused to go into the backyard alone. My uncle installed security cameras, big, obvious ones, a warning, a promise that we were watching too. But fear has a way of seeping into the walls of a house. No matter how many locks, no matter how many cameras, I always felt him, just outside, watching.